Awesome.
Okay, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on your time zone. Thank you for attending this session, even maybe you have a busy day. So I'm glad to see you all here. So this is the fifth and the final kind of formal presentation session. So we do have a panel session later. So if you want to see some more experienced people with senior leadership who are IR leader themselves and practicing IR leadership qualities and stuff, you will have the chance to ask questions, and that's an interactive session and it's a panel. So if you are new or need a refresh of the previous session, don't worry. We'll also wrap up today with a recap of the previous session and talk about how everything connects. So stay tuned. Now let's dive into today's topic. Maybe I'll just first introduce myself. So I'm Lin Li. I am a IR analyst at LaSalle University. And Chen here, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Qian. I'm the data analyst at Cornell University College of Engineering. So I'm very happy to present this session with Lindy.
Great. So let's see what you can expect today. So next slide. Okay, first I'll kick us off of the session's objective, and I'll share some key observations from my experience and my networking and stuff about the different types of strategic leaders I've seen in institutional research. Then Chen will take over, guiding you through some thinking models and leading a discussion session in the breakout room. So finally, we'll close with a recap of today's session or previous sessions, how it connects together, and we'll have some Q&A time for you, for all of you. So today's session objective, our goal today is to give you some tools and frameworks for strategic thinking and effective decision making. But first, let's define those two big buzzwords. Right? So strategic thinking is all about proactively aligning your decisions and actions with long-term goals. It's more than just focusing on quick wins. You need a clear vision. It means you understand your organization's priorities and the needs of various stakeholders across campus. That's a lot to take, but don't worry, we'll break it down later. So now on the second key term, effective decision making. This is about your ability to critically evaluate options and make decisions that align with your office's priorities. It's not just about picking the easiest option, it's about choosing the right one based on what's feasible and what matters most. So Chen will provide you more tools and framework for that. Now I'd like to share some observations about leaders in IR. So these observations, again, are from my only 3 years of working in IR, but I network a lot. I attended a lot of different regional conference and the AIR forum, stuff like that. So I believe I've gained enough to see like different kinds of people. And from my experience, I see 3 key images of leaders in this field. So the first one, the connected expert. So this first type of leader is what I call the connected expert. So many of us see ourselves maybe as individual contributors. We have all the different expertise, data visualization or IT, depending on your background, and maybe psychology. So you'd love to design surveys and frame maybe interviews, stuff like that. So we have our expertise. But even if you are a one-person office, even if just you in your office, you are still part of a larger team because you collaborate with others. So these type of leaders, not only they contribute as an individual with their expertise, they also know how to collaborate across functions. They seek out help when needed, and they build a reputation by collaborating, by getting themselves known for other people as a trusted resource by sharing their expertise and driving innovations. So they amplify their impact by working with others, making them not just an analyst or a single expert, but leaders that others turn into. So the second type of leader I've seen is the strategic bridge builder. So this is kind of cross-departmental connector. So these leaders don't just work within their own teams. So it's kind of similar, but it's like cross-departmental. So they build bridges across department because as IR, as we all know, we have so many different data requests from other departments. So that require us to understand the needs of those data requesters from different areas and balance our priorities when faced with multiple demands. We build trust across campus by navigating partnerships and providing solutions that serve everyone's interest. So they don't just respond to the request, they shape how research, how IR, and how our priorities are, and how our research is used across the institution. So that's the second kind of layer. And the third one is the visionary strategist. So these leaders, as you can see, they have this vision and even longer longer term goals. So these leaders look beyond their day-to-day task. So they anticipate emerging trends and challenges such as AI, right? And our DEI and our government, all the changes and messy stuff. So they see those emerging trends and they face those challenges proactively in higher ed. So they blend sometimes external research and research papers with their institution's unique context to make strategic decisions. They partner with senior leadership to set long-term goals and policies that shape the future of the institution. So they're so visionary and proactive. So they ask those big questions, such as what's coming next in higher ed? What is currently a challenge and we haven't solved, but we need to think about it and discuss about it? What are the long-term goals that our institution should aim for? What's the market look like? What are the institutions are doing? So their vision allows them to make proactive decisions that position their institution for success. So that's 3 images, and let's have a recap of the 3 leadership images. So to summarize, these 3 leadership images highlight those key qualities. The first is the connected expert. They're powered by collaboration. So you are a team player who build your expertise with others and you work through partnerships so that you have those reputation, you are known as this expert and you are trusted. So it's connected to this second layer of the cross-departmental connector. So you are powered by relationships. Your relationship with those different stakeholders. So you navigate diverse needs and build trust across offices to make our data analysis impactful, to make our recommendations real, turn it into real action. And the third one, the visionary strategist, you are powered by your vision. You blend your institutional contextual knowledge with a broader higher ed trends, shaping your longer term strategy for your institution. So let me remind you what has been repeatedly said through our sessions in this LRP program, Leadership Readiness Program, in the previous sessions. So we said that leadership isn't defined by your title. So you are not tied to one layer of those 3 things I've talked about. So these 3 images don't have to be separate or tied to a specific title or role. So you all here can have those 3 qualities. So a single leader can embody all those 3 qualities if you have the ability to collaborate, if you have the skill to negotiate, to prioritize, and to build relationship, and if you have the talent for prioritizing what matters and you actively read paper, you read news, and you share it, you network, and you gain feedback on your own practices and hear what other institutions are doing that could be inspirational, right? So if you can do that, you are already on your way to become a strategic leader in IR. Now I'll hand it over to Chen, who will share strategies and tools for developing these leadership qualities. Thank you, and Chen, the floor is yours.
Hello again. Before we move further, I'll ask Lily to launch a Zoom poll at first. So because everyone may have different idea about what leadership qualities, and we hope this question would give us a quick feedback about everyone's thinking. So this question, you can select up to 3 options. I will give like 1 to 1 minute. And after you make your selection, we will go back to keep talking our specific tools and framework.
Okay, it seems I'll give you a few more seconds to select. We have 14 participants now. I can see it on my end, but you cannot, I know. You only see yours, but I'll share the results soon when I think all people are answered. So a few more seconds.
Which leadership qualities do you feel is most important from your perspective as IR or data people? Oh, we have seen the answers here, and I'm sharing the results. So looks like our top options is strategic vision, data-driven decision making. This is top 2, and the third one is collaboration. It's really great to see we have this pretty similar ideas about what are the most important leadership qualities. And actually, these important qualities can align with our OCAIR's philosophy very well. Like the prior sessions we talked about, so leadership is a mindset, but it's not just a job title. And because we have already these clear goals, I think we can share some more specific tools. So today's session, we have 4 clear goals we hope to share with everyone, and they actually are pretty similar to our selected options in the prior poll question. So first, we hope our session can help you articulate your role as a strategic leader. This is the top selection, right, for this question. So as IR or data people at universities, we are not just a data person. We are also actually a trusted advisor, actually, who shapes decisions. And secondly, we hope to learn, apply leadership frameworks like the data-driven metrics and influence mapping. We will talk about the details later to real challenges, for example, like a retention crisis or budget debates. And the third, we'll practice influencing stakeholders by framing data in ways that can resonate with their priorities. Like, for example, if you can see some specific enrollment numbers, we don't want just to provide numbers. We hope to provide retention strategies for like provost or admission or other stakeholders. And finally, we hope to give everyone with a personal leadership action plan. It's a roadmap to grow your skills and amplify your impact over the next 90 days. Of course, this objective is not just about today's session. It's a kind of building your habits and your positions as a leader in your institution. So the next, I will introduce some frameworks and the detailed tools. So let's start with the first one. First, we want to explore the mindset that separates leaders from regular task doers. So this model is called above the line and below the line model. We will share our slides later, and you can find the YouTube link here. So it's a very short video. It's about like one and a half minutes, but we don't have time to watch the video today together. So after we share the link, I hope everyone maybe have the opportunity to watch the video. It's a very, very fun and very interesting philosophy, actually. So about I'm just briefly introduce the model in details. So above line thinking is where strategic leaders actually operate. So it's proactive, curious, and solution driven. So above the line thinking is about proactively aligning your work with your institution's mission. For example, instead of just reporting retention decline number, so as we mentioned earlier, so above line leaders, actually they own the challenge. So they can see their challenge, but they collaborate with their advisors and faculty, and they design the interventions aligned with the university's mission. So analyzing retention trends is not only about specific numbers, actually it's about redesigning advising programs and to boost the students' success. So this how above the line leader thinks. On the other way, below the line thinking actually keeps us stuck in reactivity. It's blame heavy, defensive, and focuses on why things can't change. Imagine dismissing a data-driven proposal. So a lot of people may say, oh, our leaders may not care about this problem at all. So even though I may have some good ideas, but I feel maybe it's time consuming, it costs a lot of energy. So I just feel so many challenges about this proposal, even though I know it's good. So this is the below the line thinking mind. So we can see a ladder here. So I hope this ladder, it could remind us that leadership actually is a choice. We can choose either above the line or below the line. But if we choose above the line, that means we always ask ourselves, what kind of influence? What can I actually take actions instead of the below the line? That means you will always say, oh, who's to blame? What challenges am I facing? So as IR and data professionals, I hope our data and our skills can give each other power so we can use that to lead solutions, not just highlight problems. So that's why we feel this above the line model may be a good start. And the next strategic framework, I will introduce this data-driven SWOT metrics. So a lot of people may see this metrics in some other contexts. So traditionally, these tools helps prioritize tasks by urgency and importance. So usually you will see the metrics this way is like urgent, not urgent, important and not important. But for our IR and data leaders, I did adapt this one to focus on long-term institutional impact. So this metrics actually isn't just about sorting tasks. It's not. It's about reclaiming your time to lead strategically. So if we break down this matrix, so you can see the quadrant 1 is urgent and low impact. So that means it's you can use delegating or simplifying way to deal with this kind of tasks. So the example is like you have some routine data requests. I think a lot of IR faced this kind of regular like surveys. So they actually have very clear deadlines. So they are urgent. But across the institutions, actually, they may not have very high impact. So if we can use some automatic tools like dashboards, BI tools, or some Python scripts, that definitely will save a lot of our hours, and we can use our time to deal with other higher impact and more urgent stuff. So this quadrant second means you have to do now. So it's very urgent, but sometimes it's very urgent, and it's also high in impact. So this right one. So enrollment drops. It is a good examples like a lot of institutions may face. So those kind of challenge is something you have to take actions right now. And for this kind of tasks, sometimes you may need to include a lot of different partner and stakeholders to deal with that together. And the quadrant 3, so this one actually sometimes you can just eliminate them. So it's, for example, you have some reports and you have some minor formatting issues, like from some stakeholders, like they prefer different colors or different visualizations. So these actually are time vampires. So we need to do that, but this has lower priority. And this quadrant 4, sometimes it's very easy to ignore, but actually it has higher impact, even though it may not be very urgent. So we have to use more strategic way to deal with this quadrant 4, the green color one. And this one, actually, this is where we can really lead. So for example, we can use one example, like when you developing some prediction models for student success, that may be not urgent or requested by other specific offices, but it's transformative. So we should definitely save us some time to use this to use the time to protect this work fiercely. And after we have this whole matrix, it's always beneficial actually to ask yourself, am I stuck in quadrant 1 and 3? So this 1, 2, 3, 4. So the two left one, the 1 and 3, that means you didn't have enough time to think in a more strategic way. So ideally, if we can spending like our 60% of our time on quadrant 4 and using the other like 40% to deal with the quadrant 1 and 2, these more urgent tasks, this can ensure we are driving impact, not just checking boxes or just finishing some mandatory duplicating recurring reports. So this is the framework 2. And then the third one, I'm very happy to introduce another strategic thinking framework. It's called influence mapping. So as IR professional data people, we often struggle to get stakeholders to act on data. So this influence mapping framework actually can help us to identify key decision makers and understand their priorities. And accordingly, we can tailor our communications. So we, every time when we have a task, the first question we may want to ask ourselves is that, which stakeholders do you feel you struggle to influence most? Is that like admissions office, provost, or faculty, or some other budget office? If we can identify our key stakeholders and tailor our communications to their priorities, that definitely will more effective. And our influence mapping framework can help us always transform our data, reports, and numbers into compelling narratives. So we can break down with one example. So I give one example, like imagine your institute has one program, it's experiencing like enrollment declining in the past few years, and what you will take actions. So first of all, we hope to break this down into 4 steps. So first, we can start with the left, this as the square. We need to identify our data core question. So first of all, we need to find the trend for this enrollment decline in this program. So it is a fact, but how we can frame it and determine our actions. So then the second step is like we identify our stakeholders. So related with this challenge, we can see provost, that may be important stakeholder, and faculty and students. So for different stakeholders, we then need to take different actions. So from the provost perspective, like we can think so they may care more about student success and the universities and colleges reputation. So if we can connect our data to their priorities, so that means this retention risks, it may be especially challenging for first generation students. That's just one example. And this example may affect like the university's diversity ranking or funding issue. So that may provost cares most about. For the second possible stakeholder, like faculty, they have definitely different caring issues. Like for faculty pathway, they may more highlight like problem like collaboration or curriculum, like how they can change their curriculum or how they can use this opportunity as a chance for some interdisciplinary innovation. So it should not be just a burden, like just cancel one program, but maybe there are some new opportunities to have some collaboration across different departments and colleges. And the third kind of stakeholders may be students. So from the students' perspective, we may need to more emphasize equity issues, like will this program amplifies some underrepresented students' voices. So as you see, if we use this kind of influence mapping, so it can give us a a clear framework. Like if we know what keeps our stakeholders up at night, like for provost, for faculty, for students, if I can exactly know what's their goals, so it could help us to select different tools and change our narratives, try to help them to make more effective decision making. So besides these three specific tools, above the line, below the line model, the Eisenhower impact urgent metrics and also influence mapping. Definitely we have a lot of other additional other decision-making tools. So, but I don't want to go too deep further here, but I'm just briefly introduce some other tools like this one over here is called SWOT analysis. So S means strength, W means weakness, O opportunities, T and stress. So this SWOT analysis can help us align data with our institutional strategy better. For example, if we have some enrollment is declining problem, so it is a threat, right? But we can leverage our resources, for example, like alumni network. So that is one strength, and we can boost up our recruitment and turning this weakness into new opportunities. And the second tool is called ODA loop. So this actually is especially helpful in some fast-paced crisis. Like if we notice some enrollment demographics, they shift unexpectedly, we can always start from this ODA loop. So we observe the trend and orient to our mission and decide on targeted outreach, and then we can act quickly. So the next one is called PESTLE. This one is especially helpful to some negative external storms, like some policy influence. So if you anticipating some policy changes, so we can proactively adjust our financial aid models, try to avoid some reactive chaos. So in general, so these three tools, no single tool actually we can use that to solve every problem. So we always need to combine all these tools, and adaptability is always the key. Like for SWOT analysis, you can use that for long-term planning, and ODA is better for rapid pivots. And the PESTLE can help us to navigate external storms. So after I introduce all these frameworks, we have two activities. So Lindy will assign 3 to 4 people into one breakout room. The first activity, so Lindy, do you want to give some introductory.
Yeah. I've signed everyone into a group of 3 or 4. So later when I open the room, you all join that. And in the chat, I also shared a Google Doc, if you can open that, so that after you join the breakout room, you can still see a lot of text about this activity. So let me introduce the first activity to kind of introduce it so you can dive directly in it when you join the team, so that you don't have to read this all together. So the first activity, since I presented the part of the 3 different images, although they're not 3 separate images, so that I come up with those 3 different questions, each targeting one type of quality of the IR leader. So the first IR leader, if you can still remember, it's a who have an expertise, but who are willing and who are, I guess, very good at collaborate with other person. So this question aims to inspire you to think about your team players' unique and different strengths and the opportunities they might have, so that you can collaborate with them, so that you're not working alone, you are amplified with others' ability. And the second question here is this second kind of image, who have this relationship with the campus stakeholder. For this question, you need to think about a recent interaction with a department. What are their priority? What are they interested in? So that what you supplied fit in to their priority and interest, and your research can be impactful, and they can actually take your research analysis into some action. And the third one, which is the last one, is a very interesting one, because we are having emergent challenges everywhere, not only in the technical AI world, but also in the policy world. So you might talk about the emergent challenges and how you can take that as an opportunity to make yourself and your office sing by tackling those challenges. How might you shape it into some impactful initiatives? You can brainstorm on that. So those are the first activity. You only need to select one, because we only have 15 minutes. And Chen, can you introduce your second activity?
Thank you. So the second activity is called the trade-off challenge. So even though maybe you are not a leader with you are not with the person with the formal leader title, but you may also need to deal with this kind of leadership dilemma. It's resource allocation. So if you can imagine, the example is like your university has limited funds. So do you want to invest in a new analytics tool, or you prefer to hire more IR staff? So as IR perspective, we need to format our thinkings and suggest to our leaders. So in the small groups, so we can use some tools we mentioned earlier, like the above the line, below the line, and also urgent impact metrics, influence mapping, this SWOT analysis, or the loop and pestle. So you can use all kinds of tools and try to solve this problem. So you can start to with the question like which is the short-term or which is the long-term goal and impact, and who will be your stakeholders, like which type of stakeholders, they may have different preference, and you can align your choice with like 1 to 2 institutional goals. Like if they prefer to pursue more much more efficient like student success or operational efficiency, like the tools or more staff can help with these questions. So no actually choices are just like no right answer. So this kind of leadership is just about justifying your choice. And we need to align the institution missions. So we have 15 minutes to talk about this activity 1 and 2. And we will share actually the Word link. So when you're in the breakout room, so you can see yeah, so we have explored some framework and tools which shape effective leaders. So I just give a brief takeaway here. So today we try to introduce a lot of tools and framework, but actually this not just one single use tool. So you always can combine all of them and try to customize based on your stakeholders and the institutional priority. So ideally, we hope everyone can believe themselves, even though you don't have formal titles, but each one can become leaders. And this leadership actually, we can use all this mindset and the framework, try to shape our conversations, to shape our products. So we are not just the people which provide numbers and answer number of questions. We can actually use our data and leverage our data, try to align our data products with our institutional priorities. And because we are the last session of this leadership program, so we are also very happy to, we are happy to recap our prior 4 sessions. So these are some key concepts I feel they already introduced before, and I feel they are very useful in our IR and data people daily job. So first, like the first session, Leadership Foundations by Jennifer. So we have a lot of great concepts introduced in that session, like true leadership. They are starts with mindset. They are not just some titles. So it's about like taking ownership and inspiring others. And it can align our actions with institutional values. So, and also great leaders, they don't just use one type of style, so they adapt their style. So sometimes it may be like directive, or sometimes it may be collaborative or delegative leadership skill. So it's based on their team's needs and their institutional goals. So it's like a circulation. So sometimes like one, we self-aware like our institutional and our intentional habits. So that can drive our strategic influence, and then it also can make ourselves grow. So the second session, it's effective communication led by Helen. So in that session, communication, it tells us it's not just about words, so it's about trust. So it's about like cultural norms, body language, active listening, a lot of different skills. So when we listen to others, we not just try to understand them, and not just try to reply to the obvious question. We can use a lot of skills like the 3 C skills in Helen's presentation introduced. So it's about clear, concise, and correct. So this clarity can bridge gaps and build connections among different departments and different individuals. And the third session, Max introduced some emotional intelligence topics. So the key idea I remember is like we can think of emotion as a bank account. We track deposits, so like self-care, and then we withdrawals and some like stress. So the resilience means that we can adapt quickly and always stay composed. So and also the fourth session, finally the last session about networking and relationships organized by Li Huang. So this can this session introduces something about the authentic connections. They can survive on a mutual value. So they also introduced some framework like SPEDA, like how we can self-assess ourselves, self-assess how to refine our brand and how to engage strategically, and also like how to build a network of mentors, supporters, and role models. So like that BC model that also can turn context into more lasting allies, like more long-term connections. So all these prior sessions, so it provides a lot of tools and frameworks. So it's always remind us actually, so leadership is not just like one stop. So it's like a long-term journey. We can use all these kind of tools, framework, try to keep improving us, try to make us keep growing. So at last, we want to share the last actions. So this is like a 90-day leadership growth plan. So anyone, after we share the slides, is welcome to use this framework, try to make a specific actionable plan. So you can like identify one skill you want to hone, like if you really want to influence a specific stakeholder, like how will you start your plan? Like if you want to initiate one meeting with them, or like do you want to talk with a specific person? So don't just wait for an invitation from other stakeholders. So you can take actions, when you use this kind of strategies, you will not only get more connected with other offices and other people in your institution. You can also support yourself better. So these are all the sessions we try to cover today. We have, I think we still have some time for the feedback, and also if we want to talk about some specific topics today. So, you know, during this special policy changing time, so maybe some people from different campuses have something to share. So maybe we can start